Pep Guardiola has signed a new contract extension at Manchester City for a further 12 months with an option for this deal to be extended by an additional 12 months. This will take his reign at the football club to beyond one whole decade. Want to get your thoughts, want to get your feelings, want to get your opinions on this massive breaking news. The second most successful manager in Premier League history extends his stay for at least one more additional year, maybe two. Hit the like and the share button. Let's go. There we have it, a sort of one of the worst kept secrets, one of the worst kept secrets in Premier League football in recent weeks has been about the new deal that Pep Guardiola would be signing. Sam Lee, Fabrizio Romano, David Ornstein and co have all tonight confirmed that Pep Guardiola has signed. I'm going to read their words out for you now in just a second here. Waiting for it to come up in front of me because it's disappeared for some reason. Guardiola, it says Man City have announced that the manager Pep Guardiola has agreed a new one-year contract. So his deal ends in 2025, old deal. He's now signed a new deal into 2026. However, there is an option to extend it for an additional 12 months. So this new deal could run until 2027. This latest extension ensures that the 53-year-old Spaniard could surpass a decade at the helm at the club, further cementing his legacy. Since his arrival in 2016, Guardiola has redefined success at their club, guiding their team to multiple Premier League titles, domestic trophies, and of course, the famous treble. Now, I want to get your views. I want to get your opinions. I want to know what you think and feel in relation to this, but it's massive news. There is no doubt about that whatsoever. This is seismic, absolutely seismic for the Premier League. Whether people like hearing this or not, he is the best manager in the world right now. There's no doubt about it whatsoever. He is going to be remaining in the Premier League at Manchester City. And I think there's been a lot of speculation. Will he stay? Will he go? What about the court case? Well, he's extending for an additional year, maybe two after that. He is here for the foreseeable. And who knows by the end of that what he's going to do? Who knows by the end of that what... who knows what this man is going to go out there and do? None of us know. None of us know what he's going to end up doing. So, look, I'm very, very intrigued to get your thoughts, feelings, and your opinions on this right now in the comment section, people. Make sure you're sharing this stream as well. I'd like you guys to share this and get it out there. I'm just putting it into some of the group chats as of right now. So please make sure you are all getting that done, my wonderful, wonderful people. Some of the early comments coming in. League 2 loading. I don't think so. Oh, Terry Lowell. I absolutely have no idea what you mean. If you're going to say something like this, expand upon it, my friend. Expand upon it. Makes perfect sense for Pep, in my opinion, is what Soccer Junkie says here. Again, expand on that for me. Make that make sense for me. Break that down for me. Let me know what it is you mean. That option muds your narrative. Again, listen, it's great you call me out. Expand. How does it mud my narrative? Come on, do better. I get so frustrated at the comments sometimes. Expand, explain it. I want the challenge, but don't just let mud my narrative. What's my narrative? I don't know what you're referring to, my old mate. So let me now know in the comment section below. And as I say already, make sure you're smashing the like button and make sure you are subscribing right now. Let us know what is going on, people, because I want to hear from you. I want to hear from you all right now in the comment section. I want to get that in, but you got to explain. Don't just say things like that. Do it properly. Let us know what you all think, what you all feel, what you all mean, so we can have a productive conversation. See how Pep works in League 2. I don't think they're going to League 2, personally. Blue Viper says, rivals cry now. Listen, him staying is not a good sign for everybody. We knew an extension was coming. I'm not going to lie. I was hoping it was just going to be one more year. The fact there's an option in there to extend it further is bad news. Why? There isn't a manager in world football who is as good as this guy. It doesn't matter who you've got. Doesn't matter how well your team is run. If Pep is at a brilliantly run team, I don't think anybody over a 2-year, 3-year, 4-year, 5-year period would be able to surpass him. He's that good, in my opinion. Any manager that does, I'm not going to name a manager because there'll always be some triggered people. If over the next, say, 3 seasons, Joe Bloggs wins more titles, more Champions Leagues in that period, then what an achievement it will be for that said manager. Ilas here says, as a Liverpool fan, I'm not really scared of Pep. Slot is here to take over. And listen, maybe he will. Maybe he will. Maybe he will. Of course, I'm spitting the truth. I always spit the truth. From my perspective, it's always the truth anyway. Some of you don't like what I say, but that doesn't mean that it isn't the truth as far as I see it. Maybe. Sorry, I just clicked on the show by mistake there myself. But get this shared out there, people. Get the like buttons hit. Make sure you are subscribing if you haven't done so already, because as I've said at the top of this show, this is massive news. And I think this does concern a lot of teams in the Premier League. I think it should concern a lot of you watching, depending on who it is that you support, because City are going to be good with or without Pep. When Pep does eventually leave, they're so well run, they are going to remain a brilliant, brilliant team. But I felt that with him going, they may become a little more human than the superhuman sort of androids that they often are in their amazingly drilled system. However, him staying for at least this season and next, maybe even 2, which essentially is 2.5, 3 seasons, as it were, that is a damning factor for rival clubs because of how good he is. It's as simple as straightforward. Doesn't mean he can't be beat. Doesn't mean you can't win trophies instead of him, but it's damning. We all wanted him to go. Let's not sit here and lie about it. Soccer Junkie here says it makes sense because he still doesn't know what will happen with the charges and all that. If he had a good idea that nothing will happen, he would have signed a longer deal. Maybe. I mean, you could be right in that, but I think that there's a lot more to it than that, in my personal opinion. But you make a good point. Saying the new deal confirms he's leaving, and it's just that he's leaving a year later. Well, no, because that's the more. But it doesn't damage my narrative, does it? So again, this is where you're wrong, my friend. I don't make up the narrative, okay? I went with what the story said, that he was signing a 1-year extension. And and I can only I only have beliefs based on the information that we're given. So when the stories from credible sources say he's signing a 1-year extension, that for me confirms he's going at the end of that period. The news has now changed. So with new information comes new opinions. So if the story said there was going to be a year extension and I ignored it and said, no, it confirms his exit in a year, then you would be correct. But new information comes, therefore a new opinion arises. And this for me is somebody who is signing a new deal. He's got the 1-year extension. I do think potentially the case is playing a small part. Let's see what happens. Let's see if they win it. Let's see if they lose it. Let's see by how much. Also, Pep may be looking at it and saying, let's see what the world looks like in 2 years' time. Maybe I extend for that additional 12 months. Maybe when it comes to that period, he doesn't just extend that. Maybe he adds another year and a year on top. Maybe he does that now for a number of seasons. The situation has changed because new information is at hand. And as far as I remember, I didn't see any stories talking about one new year with an option for a further 12 months. So the narrative cannot be broken when the news and information coming now is different. But thank you very much for giving me your thoughts, feelings, and opinions on that, my friend. But I like the fact you went into detail. That way we can have conversation. So thank you. The ripple effect here says, I think one of many reasons for Pep is to go for 10 years, work with a new sporting director, get revenge on Amorim, but most of all, make the timing to take over a matching national team. Yeah, maybe there's part of that. You also could, again, I think it makes a lot of sense on a level that maybe Pep is looking at this and saying, look, we've got a new sporting director coming in. There may be some turmoil around the corner. even if they prove a lot of their charges to be innocent, but then get found guilty of all the failing to cooperate, there still could be some big fines or points deductions in there potentially here. I feel like what Pep is also doing is saying, I'm going to be here for Man City to see them through that transitional period because I love this football club. And I think that's really honorable of him to do that. Wizard here says, very good news. I hope Pep stays until his contract expires and he doesn't win the Premier League again. Well, look, if you're a rival fan, that's the way you've got to look at this, in my opinion. Genuinely, I think that's the way that you have to look at this situation. I think it's the way you have to look at this scenario because, and I want to make sure that I say this in the right way, and I want to make sure that I'm being fair on this. I know there's a lot of people, including me, that want Pep Guardiola to leave. Of course I do. The same as I want Haaland to leave Man City. The same as I personally want Mo Salah to leave Liverpool. Anybody leaving a rival club of mine that potentially weakens them is something I want, okay? As a football fan of Man United, as a supporter of Man United, that is what I want. However, and I will say this, there is also another side of me, though, that says, okay, as a United fan, look at Amorim. Come in, build this Man United team up, and beat him to some titles, beat him to some trophies. That, for me, is a great look for Amorim. If you're an Arsenal fan looking at this, I know there are some gooners saying, you know what, if Pep leaves, then Arteta's ready to pounce and become the next best thing. Well, how about you beat him to a couple of league titles, finish ahead of him in the league, beat him to a few titles? We all know how amazing he is. And it's just like in any other sport. If you beat one of the greatest of all times on a, maybe 2 years running, what that does for your CV, what that does for your accolades is massive. So I think this is something that should motivate the Slots, the Artetas, the Amorims as individuals to say, I'm going to beat that person. That's how I would personally look at it, but that's just me. You may have a different view and a different opinion on that yourselves. He's probably wanting to be seen as Klopp leaving. Sorry. He is probably wanting to be seen as Klopp leaving a thriving club rather than Sir Alex leaving a failing club. Look, there's an element of truth to that. The difference being Man City and Liverpool don't have owners like the Glazers. Therefore, it's a very different scenario, which Pep isn't really in control of. Pep isn't in control of how well run City is per se. But yes, I mean, he's going to leave a club being run better whenever he goes than the Glazers are running Manchester United. That is an absolute given, in my humble opinion. Terry, you're going to have to run your City agenda for another year. I don't have a City agenda. City get more praise from me than any other team in the top six. Show me the other team that I've consistently called the best in the world. Show me another team during the time of the Football Terrace that I've said are English greats. Show me another team during the Football Terrace era who I've said have become European greats. I speak of KDB as the top 2 or 3 central midfielders in Premier League history. I say that Erling Haaland is the greatest finisher the Premier League has ever seen. I believe Pep Guardiola is the best manager of his generation. I reject the idea that he is a checkbook manager and he is an absolute phenom. So there is no team, no manager, no set of players that have had more praise, higher praise. I mean, let me rephrase that and make it even more accurate. No team has had higher praise from me than Manchester City. The idea that I have an agenda against them is absolutely ridiculous. If you can find me examples of where I've given higher praise to any other team, let me know. I would much rather somebody say that Man United are a European great than scary. Failing to cooperate means nothing because the Premier League charges were false. Again, we don't need to get bogged down in that, but that isn't the case. That it's against the rules of the league to not cooperate, even if the charges can't be proven. And if you can prove that you're innocent, so you can still be in trouble for that. But that's another conversation for another day. Let's have a look at some more of these comments here. Fraser here says Pep's plan is to stay 10 years. Terry, he's been at City 8 years. Yes, and that's fair. So this season will be his 8th, won't it? And then he's 9th, and then next season will be his 10th. He has an option for a further 12 months. I'm intrigued to see whether he extends it further And if he does extend it further, will it just be that 12 months? Or could he add another year or two on? Maybe the scenario will be you get to the end of next season, which is what the extension runs up to. Maybe there isn't a suitable candidate. Maybe they get to February or March and they say, you know what? We just haven't quite found the man, the person, the individual to take over from Pep yet. So Pep Guardiola maybe then turns around and says, well, I'll extend. I'll do the extension. It gives us another 12 months to find the adequate person. This gives so many more options to Manchester City, to Pep Guardiola. And I think that's testament to how emotionally connected he is to your football club. You said points deduction, that will not happen. Yeah, I was giving a hypothetical example, my friend. Again, when somebody's given a hypothetical example to the situation, don't get bogged down in that. It's hypothetical. It doesn't need to be focused on. It isn't the important. It's not. It's like a side dish. It isn't the main dish of the point that was being made. So I really wouldn't let that stress your head, my friend. I really, really wouldn't. Has he signed yet? It's done. It's going to be announced in the next few days by Manchester City. I think they're extending to find a replacement. Yeah, listen, but again, that could be true. But I think it shows the dedication that Pep Guardiola has to Manchester City, because he could just say, I'm done. If you haven't got the right replacement, I'm leaving. And he isn't doing that. You know, and the fortunate thing is he's not in his 70s and needing to retire for any kind of medical reasons, touching wood. So it gives him that option. But I think it shows the dedication that he has to their football club. I really, really do. I think he knows the squad is not good enough to win the league this year, but he wants to win it next year and leave on a high. Now, this Man City team is good enough to win the league this season. I want to put that out there now. This Man City team is absolutely good enough to win the league this campaign. There is no doubt about that in my mind. They can still win the league. Pep said he's not aiming to beat Sir Alex Ferguson's record, Terry. Yeah, I mean, I haven't said on here that he is trying to beat that record. So I'm not too sure why you're throwing that at me, but I've heard him say that he's not going to stay for 26 years. It's never going to happen. So yeah, I don't expect him to probably stay more than 2 or 3 years from this point. But from a City point of view, at least you know you've got him for at least 2 more years. That's massive. That's massive. Here we go again. I thought you told us Pep was leaving. No. Every single fan channel, mine, the United Stand, AFTV, DR Sports, League Gunner, Anfield Agenda, It's LB. We are all fan channels. We react to football matches, news, transfer stories, and scandal, essentially. I did a video talking about a source that said it was a 1-year extension. As I've already said, okay? That wasn't me, wasn't my claim. Stop doing this now. It's so embarrassing for you all. You all know I don't pretend to know my story. I spoke to my sources. He's staying for 1 more year. The news, if the news then has told us this extension, there would be, my reaction would be very different. Him agreeing a 1-year deal. By the way, it still tells me there's a big chance that he leaves at the end of this deal. It's not like he's doing a new 4-year extension or a 5-year deal where he's going to be here for the foreseeable. It's still short term. It still shows there is light at the end of the tunnel in terms of him leaving, but it may, with the 12-month option on top, be that little bit longer. But the idea that I told people it was going to be 12 weeks, we've got to stop doing this to fan channels. It's embarrassing and it's absolutely ridiculous. We share the news that's been put out there, and what we created for people like yourself is an opportunity to have conversations with others, be in chat rooms, rather than it just being the mainstream media talking at you. So please stop disrespecting the fan channel community by attacking us for when news changes. We are not the news outlets. We don't pretend to be the news outlets. We show you the sources on the screens. So come on now, my friend. Stop it with that bullshit. It's really embarrassing now. If Slot fails to win from this point, condemned. I mean, potentially. But he's still competing against one of the greatest English sides of all time. He's competing against a European great. He's competing against the best manager of his generation. So again, being beat. If, for instance, Tom Aspinall is fighting John Jones and is 3 rounds up but in the 4th round gets knocked out by John Jones, it's not embarrassing because John Jones is, in many people's eyes, the GOAT. So no, when you say condemned, maybe there'll be some elements you have to focus on if there's a massive collapse. But if from this point, City go on to win the league by a point, they win by 1 point over Liverpool, that for me isn't room to start condemning Slot, in my personal opinion. So Arteta ain't winning for another year, Terry. That's scary for Arsenal. Certainly is. Certainly is. I'm a Liverpool fan, but a big admirer of your channel, Terry. Thank you, Kurdish. I appreciate that a lot. Thank you very much indeed. Terry is not Romano. Stop doing it in the chat. Look, obviously, look, I'll always title that. Listen, I know people don't always like my titles of my videos. I don't personally care unless you're one of our like members or a long-standing viewer who's balanced, not one of our trolls who's angry at everything we do. I don't take your feedback. I look at it this way. I don't take criticism or feedback from people that I wouldn't ask advice from, if that makes sense. So if you're someone that's really balanced and you go, Terry, I really like you, but I don't like this that you do, or you guys should try this, or maybe get this person on, I'll always listen. But again, everybody knows what fan channels are, and we will title our videos sometimes depending on my opinion, sometimes a panelist opinion, sometimes based on the claim made in the media, sometimes my interpretation. It depends on what I'm thinking, what I'm feeling, and how I want to do it. But yeah, people pretend that, oh, Terry, you did a story 3 weeks ago saying that Pep's going to leave at the end of the season. In fairness, I did share at I think at the end of last season, I was told by a very prominent Man City fan that Pep was going to go at the end of this season. It wasn't my claim. I didn't say it was happening. I said, this is what I've been told. What do you all think? But yeah, fan channels could all just go, do you know what? We're just going to stop talking about rumors, stories, and opinions now and just shut the fan channel community down. But that would be weird because all the fan channel community is like an extension of what you and your friends do. Do you and your friends do that? You only speak, other than football matches where we know what's happened after the games, do you and your friends, when you speak football, like, go, guys, we are not talking about whether Pep will or will not sign a new deal until he does sign a new deal. Then we'll have a conversation as friends. Fuck off, you and your mates do that. So funny. Let's have a look at some more of your comments here. Let's have a little look here at what some of you are saying. Pep signed because Amorim beat him and he's in the Premier League. Stop it. It's nothing to do with that. It's nothing to do with that. Terry, your striker you want is scored 4 goals today. What striker? Gyökeres. I assume you mean Gyökeres. Did he? I don't know. I'm not watching it. Sweden. They won 6-0. Oh, he did score 4, didn't he? Jesus. 1, 2, 3. Yeah, 4. Jesus. Just looking now. 4 goals. He's a player, mate. He's only playing Azerbaijan, who are not particularly great, but still 4 international goals. Jesus. There we go. There we go. Fickle flip forward. I always wonder who's behind these accounts more than anything. I always think, I wonder who's actually sitting behind these accounts saying these things. I'm always very, very intrigued. Terry, you gave me false hope. I get that sometimes when people say, Terry, I clicked on your video because you touched on a story about Joe Bloggs to my football club and you broke it down like my hopes were up and now I'm annoyed at you because it didn't happen. I always think, and I know you're joking, by the way, but sometimes people DM me about this and I'm like, bruv, I just put the story out there. And the funniest ones are where I actually give my opinion that I don't think it will happen. And that's all like my hopes were up. I was like, bruv, you got to watch the content. If you don't watch strange world we live in. Strange world. Big up yourself, Squabs. And it is fair. It is fair. But what you have done, you're a headline reader. You've read the headline and you've not listened to the... And again, that's a crazy thing to do in life. Sometimes I do that as for a bit of fun as well. I've got a pet peeve in this world. It's like an ick. People that don't read articles and they just read headlines. It's crazy. But there we go. Cedric here says, is he staying so that he can find a replacement, or is he staying because all above him are leaving? Look, I think there could be a combination of all of those matters. I really, really do. And I think if we go through next season, we knew he was always going to stay for next season. If by February next year they've found their replacement and they're sold, it's going to be Alonso. I'm making this up here. That is a hypothetical. So nobody in a year time go, Terry said it was going to be Alonso. No, I'm giving you a hypothetical. If it's Alonso and then he can come in, then he'll probably not do the 1 year additional. If they get through next season and they don't have a replacement, they might say, let's move on. Let's let's keep him here another year. I think it's because he loves the football club. Fraud Terry doesn't give up. He said Pep would sign a 1 year deal. He has signed a 1 year deal. With a year extension, but he has signed a 1 year deal with an extra year. And he's still talking about, he still thinks he's going to leave. See, this just shows you this man's only just turned up, because that isn't what I said. I said there's a chance he still leaves. I said, but there's multiple examples that come off the back of it. Why are you're either just arrived and you didn't watch the first 25 minutes, or you're lying. Listen, Blue Viper's been here from the big. I'll let the City fans that have been here from the start tell you how wrong this opinion is about what I've said. You're completely and utterly wrong, my old mucker. Done yourself, bruv. It's not what I said. Is it a coincidence that's why I love the out of context people, when people put you out of context? I love it. We get accused of that. I don't YouTube about a year ago say, why'd you clip me up on your clips channel and take me out of context? I was like, brother, it's a 15-minute clip. You're not out of context. But I love the out of context fan channel account on X that just shows like 30, 40 seconds. But yeah, I think there's multiple options. Is it a coincidence that Pep only signs a 1 year contract extension after we got Amorim? No. He was always signing a 1 year extension. That has been fairly well documented for about 3 or 4 months now, maybe a little bit longer. It's been fairly well documented. The extra year, I'm intrigued by it. It could be until they find a replacement. It may be until we find out what's happened with the court cases. It may also be that he wants to see what the world looks like then. He wants to see what the world looks like halfway through next season. Maybe there's an option elsewhere that he wants to take, as an example. So I think it keeps his options open, where he could stay for an additional 12 months. He might end up leaving at the end of next season. There's so many options here, but I don't think it's anything to do with Ruben Amorim coming in. I think that's absolutely crazy talk, in my personal opinion. Thank you, Ash. I appreciate you you saying that we're a good channel. I appreciate. And by the way, my trolls know I'm a good channel. That's why they watch every show. I don't believe that my trolls and my detractors are that sad and pathetic that I've just realized my camera's really off kilter. It's kind of like that. I need to fix that. I don't think my trolls' lives are that pathetic that they just spend their whole day waiting for me to upload so they can be nasty. I think they love what we do, and they're just like, oh, I'm going to say something edgy for a bit of attention. And that's why I love them. That's why I made some of the moderators. Terry, as a Madrid fan, Pep signing a new contract at City means Xabi Alonso is coming to Madrid to replace Ancelotti next summer. He very well could be. I was only giving the example. However, if Man City decide they want him, they could. Well, no, they won't. He's still an extra year. You're right. Sorry, you're spot on. I was just using Alonso. I've got my maths wrong there. I was only using Alonso as a hypothetical example, but I do think that he will be going to. I think, especially with Slot now at Liverpool and doing so well, I absolutely think what you've just said is the case, my friend. I do. So I think that will happen. Sorry, someone's just told me to go and check out City Extra. I'm saying City Extra have tweeted. Remember, they're a fan channel, so they reiterate news. Official announcement confirming contract is expected in the coming days. Yeah, we said that earlier on the show. That was already put out by Sammy Lee. Remember, City Extra are not a news outlet. They're a fan channel like us. They just share the news. That's me being salty with the trolls, not towards them. Why is Goldbridge in the mud? No idea. No idea. Terry said Pep wants the Arsenal job. Love it. Where would he really go after City? Everybody has a difference of opinion on where he would go after City. And I think that it's very varied where I'm actually going to bookmark this one. Where after City? I think it's very varied where he may go. My opinion is shrouded in what I would like him to do, more so than what I think will happen. I'd love him to take over a fallen giant or an up-and-coming superstar and try and take them to that next level. That's what I would personally love. Excuse me. That's what I would personally love to see him do. So take over an AC Milan, go to a Girona as an example. Go to France and take over a team that maybe just got some money and make them bigger and better than PSG. That's a complete hypothetical. That isn't even happening in reality right now. But I'd love to see Pep do something like that. I'm sure he could, but it's the only, I suppose, when it comes to the GOAT debates, some of the other managers that are in that conversation have taken over small clubs and made them some of the best in the world, or taken over fallen giants and rebuilt them into superstars. So I think that that's just me and things I appreciate. I don't know where it'll go. I'm just giving you what I would like to see him try, and that's purely on a personal level. Pep, I think announcement will happen with Rodri's Ballon d'Or on Saturday. Makes a lot of sense. That makes a lot of sense indeed. Let's have a little look here. Pep to Wrexham. See, Wrexham Wrexham are too far off, but something like that. But maybe, say like Wrexham were already a Premier League team. I don't know if they got the money. No, he wouldn't do it in the Prem because of City, but something like that, but maybe in a different nation. Maybe Paris FC. Paris FC. Maradon, you already put this comment in, and we already put it up on the screen. Are you broken? Are you like, when I was younger, we used to listen to CDs, and sometimes they just hit the go. Are you like stuttering? Are you stuck on a certain part of the track? Is that what's happened? Terry equals agenda. Well, we all have an agenda. But I think if City fans put their hand on their heart, they know I'm very fair to their football club. I know that some City fans don't like some of the topics we bring up that they're involved with, but they would love those topics if it was a different person, different entity from the top six. So I'm not really worried about that, but I am I definitely embrace the trolls. You've got to embrace the trolls. You can't let them get under your skin. You've got to embrace them. I embrace all the trolls, all the silly lies about me, all the, I don't like your titles. I don't like your funny faces on thumbnails. I don't like your opinion on Arsenal. I don't like your opinion on Man United. I do and I don't care. I care about my genuine supporters who are fair and balanced and are polite. But the trolls that are quite horrible, I just have to have a laugh of them. What's the point of letting them get under your skin? No point whatsoever. Was that guy stuttering? Again, that's not how banter works, mate. I was doing an impression of you stuttering. It wasn't me glitching. Come on now, my friend. Oh, you're awful at this. That's how I know you don't go out and you don't have any human friends, like face-to-face friends, because you just can't banter properly, Maradon. What you're now going to do is go and use Chat GTP and say something horrible, but make it sound like I'm cool, so that it writes it in. That's what you're going to do, and then you'll go, put in capitals, please. Terry, R9 wants Pep to be the next Brazil manager. Maybe you could do that. Be interesting to see. Terry, who is likely to get Alphonso Davies next summer? United and Madrid are interested. Look, Madrid are certainly the favourite, Sharma. Of course, Madrid are the favourites. You are who you are. I don't think... So I saw some analysis, bro, like attacked recently when somebody said Madrid and Madrid, and people go, that's not great analysis. But I think we all know what that means. Real Madrid, with their success, their potency, their current squad, where they sit in the pyramid of the game, are so attractive. Not just their history, but their current status. However, I wouldn't write Manchester United off, especially if between now and the end of the campaign, there are massive improvements in how we operate, how we play football. If the feel-good factor is there, we are the only club in terms of sort of the history, the fame, the Hollywood effect that can compete with, in my opinion, with Real Madrid. Barcelona slightly as well, they can. And if our football starts to improve and our structure can be seen as something that's attractive, United could get him. But I would make Real Madrid the favourites at this point. Terry, I think United will get Branthwaite. Yeah, I think we may. I think we may get him. He's a player we really want. We haven't turned our head away from him at all. We haven't. Bro, you're weird. You think I'm weird? You have spent 1/3 of your life in the last 7 years criticizing what I do. 1/3 of your life. That's why I say I love you. Anybody that takes time to talk about me or comment about me when they don't like me, I respect them. Because I just think, good or bad or indifferent, the impact I have on your life, the rent-free nature that I live in your mind, I can do nothing but respect you and say thank you for coming to my channel, giving us a view, helping the algorithm, or, you know, talking about us. And there's a guy that makes all these TikToks of me that all he does is he makes every day 3 or 4 TikToks slagging me off, right? I'm like, bruv, the amount of traffic you push my way, thank you. And the Football Terrace has gone through a really quiet time in the last like month or two. It's been like one of our quietest, very good numbers, very good views still. I love it and I appreciate it. It's been quite a quiet time for us because typically we do our best when certain teams are doing well and certain teams are doing bad. So if Spurs and City are doing bad, it helps us. Chelsea winning, Man United winning, Arsenal winning really help us. We've got quite positive fans that sit within those spaces. It's been quite a quiet period for us. But the trolls, they help because the trolls keep people coming. So thank you. Thank you. Yeah, I don't know that guy's name on TikTok, but people have sent me a few of them, and it's just him clipping me up. And I just think, how can I not like someone who spends their whole day watching me, clipping me, sharing my stuff? Thank you. I like your points since I've seen you talking some facts about Coot last week. I appreciate that, Mick. Thank you. Pep cannot improve an average team. He's never done that. Look at the team he managed previously. I don't think it's true that he can't do that. I think he can. That's why I would like to see him do it. I'd just love to see him try that. That's my personal opinion and desire, I suppose, around it. But I don't think he will do that. Bro, you have 400,000 bots. That's why you're complaining about me. Yeah. So I got those plaques from YouTube for my bots. Thank you, bro. Thank you, bro. Terry Flewers likes drinking from sewers. Bro, that's awful. That's awful banter, mate. It really, really is. Sorry. I don't really. What do you mean it's been a quiet time? Well, I mean, what's that quiet time? It's just one of those things. And how I notice it is based on just certain users. You don't see certain people. So I will get, if Spurs win, Spurs shows that we do a really quiet. That's just the way it is. We have a good percentage of Spurs fans that watch, but we don't have a big following in that area. For one reason or another. If Chelsea do badly, we have a lot of Chelsea subscribers. We've got a massive Chelsea subscriber base on the Football Terrace that we sort of built up through 2020, 21, 22. But when they're not doing very well, they're very quiet and almost dormant. So if you look at between the last international break and now, we're very similar with Arsenal. In the last couple of years, we've built a really strong Arsenal following. But you look in the last period between two international breaks, both teams barely won a game or barely won a significant game. So it makes it quiet. But that's just the nature of the beast. It's season, almost like seasonality in a way, if that makes sense. But that's why I'm always thankful of the trolls, because if all my trolls stopped trolling, it would probably hurt the terrace more. It's why I got a mate that he messaged me and he was like, bruv, can you ask that non-context channel to stop featuring me? I'm like, why? They're advertising you. It's not a bad thing. They're advertising you. It's great. So yeah, listen, I'd love for all 2,000 of you to clip me up every day and share me on socials, good, bad, or indifferent, because it'd make me go viral. And I want my listen, I'm very, very open about it. I want my podcasts, I want my shows to get the most amount of views possible. That's it. I'm very open about it. Doesn't bother me to say it. So yeah, keep it coming. Terry, why are you responding to these clowns? I enjoy it. I enjoy talking to the troll sometimes, my old mate. I really, really do. What do you think about Pogba coming back to Carrington in January after his contract at Juve has been terminated? I think, look, if we're going to give him a place and a hub to train from and get fit, fair play, he's an academy boy, and we should certainly be helping him. Terry, who are you supporting, Liverpool versus Madrid? I will never support another English team in Europe unless it benefits my club. So I'll be supporting Real Madrid on that night. Premier League clubs fear the automated offside technology may not be introduced into top flight football this season as testing is on its selected system continues. Of course, I don't want to bring it in. I don't know why. I haven't thought deeply enough about it, but I'm not surprised at all. Look, I want to thank each and every single one of you for tuning in this evening. I was going to have a little chilled night tonight, catch up on EastEnders. I'm about 2 weeks behind, but then the news broke and I thought I've got to go and speak to my people. Please make sure you hit the like button before you leave. Please make sure you're subscribing to the Football Terrace as well. Until next time, take care, goodbye, God bless, and we'll see you tomorrow on Straight Fact with Mo and Giuseppe. Sam's taken a few days off holiday, so we'll be having Giuseppe and Mo on tomorrow. Take care, goodbye, God bless, and I'll see you soon. Peace.